over to chat. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Airship Lounge. I took a small little break because I was visiting someone, and now we're back with new episodes. And I decided to have, for my first episode back, a repeat offender to the channel. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, you got me again. Maybe in the fourth degree. But yeah, my name is Zoo. I'm the Zoo of Flipping the Switch. And I sometimes make reviews. I run a show called Liquored Up Live on my channel. I talk a lot of shit on the internet. So.
Mm-hmm. And if he sounds a little odd, I had to set up a new channel, a new streaming thing, because OBS Studios was fucking me over. So,
I still can't figure out how to use it. That's too technical for me. I just do the stream. At least it's easy.
Yep. So, it's probably not going to sound as good as it did, but at the same time, I couldn't figure out how to fix all the problems I was having with OBS, and Meld is working fine. So, yeah, I invited you on here because it's been a while since you've been on you've taken a trip on the Airship Lounge.
Yeah, it's nice and comfy. But what do we got to talk about? I guess that would be the first thing is, I think we got plenty to talk about, but do we want to get right into it? Do we want to start spicy or do we want to start kind of chill?
I'd say start chilling. If the spicy stuff comes up, it comes up. So last time I had on here, it was around, I believe it was like right after the Switch 2 dropped.
Okay.
And there's been some turbulence, like a couple of months have passed since then.
Yeah, a little bit.
And the biggest change is it's dropped some games, and the biggest thing has been you have now finally obtained one, and I wanted you on here because I want to know how you feel about it after a couple of months after owning yours for about maybe I'd say 2 weeks.
So first of all, I think I gave everybody in our little corner of the internet a stroke when they found out.
That I remember when you were mentioning like life takes mysterious turns before you post the picture, and I was like, you fucking didn't. And then it's just.
I did. And that's where the story gets kind of fun, right? So this is where it becomes kind of a liability to have a girlfriend who has not a fucking clue what goes on in gaming and has zero interest in her boyfriend's channel. Okay.
Okay.
What I mean by that is this entire thing probably could have gone in a different direction, a different turn, if you will, had she even the remotest interest in video games, or had she at least was a viewer of the channel. She's neither. And so every once in a while she would overhear me talking, switch to. And this created a little bit of a false assumption in her head that I really wanted a fucking Switch.
So you got that because your girlfriend didn't seem to understand you didn't want one, but now you have one. That is.
Here's the fun thing. So I'm not going to throw it on her because, one, I can't. It was my money. She bought it with my money. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm $500 lighter in the loafers as far as the wallet goes.
Oh, did she get the Mario Kart World bundle?
No. But with tax, it was like 500 some odd.
All right.
Somehow miraculously, I would have been very sad if I would have gotten that because it's another digital code that I get to throw in a trash can, and I always feel bad about doing that sort of. But in this case, no, she somehow ended up with the right one, which is just a regular old Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they might get the bundles or whatnot. Although my understanding is it's the other one that's in short supply usually. But either way, she's got the right one. But I'm not going to put it on her. Number one, it's my money. Number two, I absolutely could have returned it if I didn't want it. Like, she's not somebody who gets her feelings or easy, anything like that. She's when she gives gifts, it comes with a fucking receipt attached, so you can take it back. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Ah, that's smart.
So entirely on me. So I'm not trying to pass the buck or anything, first and foremost. But it is funny, though, that what I have bought a Switch to, what I would not have, but it's here, and it's in the house, and my understanding is that it's supposed to make Switch 1 games play better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of the main things that I think was cool about the console is that, like, a lot of games for the Switch 1 got free updates. Well, some got, like, the charged updates. There's a good, like, dozen or so. That got like a bunch of super 60 FPS updates. Like Mario Odyssey in particular got like 4K 60 FPS free update.
It's good on the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good on the Switch 2. Now, again, it was already 60 frames per second for the most part on Switch 1, but it's locked. The graphics look like they get a little bit of a boost. I can't super tell. But when you go to something like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom and you have that update, it's night and day, dude. Like, it is good. Now, that does come with some costs. Like, to kind of give you, you asked for my overall view on the system. Now that I have Zeus blamed about how I came to get one. Now, in terms of the system itself, it feels more solid. So where the Switch One kind of felt like a toy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This does not. This feels like a proper device. It's still plastic. I think most of it is still plastic. It just seems like it's a superior make of plastic, essentially.
Like,
it feels solid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that much bigger. They touted that it's bigger, but I don't really notice a huge size or weight difference, which is cool. I love the kickstand. The kickstand itself literally has like a built-in handle, so I don't have to worry about dropping the fucking thing anymore, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the little flap that you open up to put your cartridges in. I feel like it's a little stiff, and you have to pop it open from the back, where I'm more used to the Switch 1 popping it in from the front.
Oh, they moved the cartridge slide in?
Yeah, that little flap that you have to get out of the way to put your card in. Yeah, I hate that thing on the Switch 2. But overall, the system itself is very sturdily made. I'm not as keen on the battery life. That thing's battery life is a shit sucker. It's not good.
Oh boy.
I can like if you put in Mario Odyssey, I'm draining it in like 2 hours, bro.
Okay, so it's kind of similar to like the Switch 1's battery, I'd say.
Yeah, I basically we've gone back to the pre-revision battery life. It's nowhere near the OLED or the revisions. Just
All right. That's a bit disappointing, but.
It also came with a task that literally ate like a whole weekend and several days of the prior weekday, which was loading my Switch 1 cards into the Switch 2, 1, to update where necessary, and 2, to flash. It was time anyway to flash my cartridges. That way the cartridges stay healthy. Now, folks, if you're not doing that, you have a NAND-based system, make sure that about every 2 to 5 years at the very latest, you're popping your cards in the Switch and running them for a few moments to the menu. If you don't do that, the NAND memory will leak, and eventually your games won't work. So it's not like EPROMs, where they last fucking forever and they can withstand a nuclear blast. You have to flash the cards. Now, the Switch systems have, unlike the 3DS, the DSs, or I think 3DS might have this. The DSs did not, but Nintendo figured out there's now a write command in the programming of the Switch to flash those cards and restore that memory every time you put the cards in. So it basically functions as rejuvenating your card every time you run it through the system. But you got to do it, and preferably every 2 to 5 years. Certainly not more than 10, because at that point you're going to start to run into like the dead card syndrome you're seeing on some DSs and some other systems, right?
Right.
So in terms of hardware, I love it. In terms of like the sturdiness, don't like it as far as the battery life goes. As far as games, that is a mixed bag. I am adoring Donkey Kong so far when I played it.
Yeah, I've heard everyone's fucking loving Donkey Kong. I remember you had some reservations about it with Pauline, but it's like been nice to see that like those reservations you're just like, no, I'm just thinking it's a really good game.
Well, in the reservations, actually, I believe it's kind of explained, so I have a working theory, not to give any spoilers. But my understanding is that this is not the original Pauline, it's Pauline's granddaughter.
Interesting.
So the Pauline you meet in Donk City, that's Pauline. That's Mario's Pauline. That's his squeeze from the Donkey Kong game back when he was Jumpman. This Pauline is like her granddaughter, basically. So it's like a new generation of Kong meets a new generation of Pauline, and they're getting along this time, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. I didn't know about the flashing of Switch cards. Hey, Keithius. Yeah, Keithius is in chat. You didn't. Sorry if he's a little hard to hear. I'm using Meld Studio now, and it's really good. Like, it's a new studio software. It automatically, like, it's been so much more useful for streaming as a whole.
I StreamYard. It's not. It's got its quirks. It's the easiest to use, but it's very limited.
Yeah, it's just.
Or maybe I'm just limited. It could just be that I'm fucking limited, right?
I mean, I barely understand it myself, so I'm not gonna pretend like, oh, I know this and you don't.
Right.
Sounds fine to me. Okay, cool.
Yeah, in the world, but yeah. Now, when I say mixed bag, it's like, yeah, I love Donkey Kong, but where the fuck is everything else? Because, like, I don't know if you saw the new recent thread I posted. I'm keeping track of all the money that Nintendo and their quote unquote partners could have had if they had put it on original cart. I'm at $470 saved already thanks to game key cards.
Yeah, the key cards.
So
I think the key cards in general even have been like the biggest blight on the Switch 2's release.
it's
Even
gonna eat their lunch. Like I'm already, like I said, I'm already almost $500 in my bank account saved because of game key cards. And so I literally want to. I'm thinking like the old Geico commercial, like, hey, I just saved a whole bunch of money by switching to the Switch 2.
yeah, it's like I feel like they'd have a lot. Like I feel like at some point it's either they're gonna double down and it's gonna the next system is gonna make up for all of this, like or like they'll realize it like a year in and just go like, yeah, no, key cards need to go. They're not making the profit we want.
Oh, they're gonna double down. They want to kill physical. This is not like, and I can prove to that. When we first got it, the story was its cost, right? It's just the cards are too expensive, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen the stories, but we now have about 4 different key card stories now on why the partners don't want to use the game key cards or don't want to use the Switch cartridges. And 3 out of those 4 excuses are something besides cost. One is like user speed, the other is piracy. Like so whenever you start to get multiple excuses from the same fucking people, that's your sign that they're fucking lying. They're lying, dude.
Yeah.
And so I suspect this is ideological. They have wanted to kill the third party partners have always wanted to kill physical for a long time because they don't have to deal with the secondhand game sales anymore. There's all kinds of reasons why they want physical to go away from a business perspective, right?
Right.
But the problem is if people are buying physical cartridges, it becomes hard to ditch physical. This is their testing the waters to see if they can't make that happen, to see if they can't get the physical people to jump onto game key cards. And here's the thing: they might be correct in that. P.T. Barnum famously said there's a sucker born every minute.
Mm.
So if they can get enough people buying the game key cards, then they don't have to worry about physical anymore. And I think this is their first real attempt at that, post the disastrous Xbox One attempt, which, you know, we all know how that turned out. But gamers were in a different place, they were much less compliant, and gamers are now the worst customers. So I don't know if they're going to have the same wherewithal.
Yeah. It also doesn't really help that a lot of these issues are like not really thing casual people think about when buying games. Like they just see portable Borderlands and they're like, all right, sweet.
Well, but that's the thing. They see portable Borderlands, but they're not seeing it on a store shelf. They're downloading that. So we have much data that shows that the casuals are actually going digital. So I don't know that this product is for them either. The main thing is, and I'm going to make a prediction for you, is how do they count the key cards? Is the key card counted separately from digital, or is the key card counted lumped in as a digital sale? They're just going to count it all together. If they do that, and I'm going to go ahead and predict for you that that's what they're going to do, Crimson, then they're going to declare victory no matter how the key cards sell.
Yeah, it's just set up in a way where they don't have to admit that. Next generation is going to probably be all digital. They're definitely going to probably try that at some point.
Yeah, but basically they're going to say, hey, key cards were successful. They're going to lump all sales together. They're not going to disclose. They don't have to disclose that. I don't think they will, especially if they're doing bad. If they're doing bad, then they will not separate.
Yeah.
That's why when I heard the rumor, people were like rumors that companies saying, grumbling about how key cards aren't selling. I was like, bullshit. That's a bullshit story. Like, there's a lot of people that jumped on that. It's like, see, even they're seeing the key card. I don't believe that actually happened. I don't believe that unnamed source because no fucking corporation, even off the record, is going to say that key cards aren't selling because they don't have to. They'll just say, hey, the key cards are doing great. Look at the sales of the overall game, and we're only going to get the overall sales.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens, and I don't see any investors calling them on that. Investors are just interested in, hey, how's the game selling? If the game's selling good, they don't really care how it sells. They don't care about the breakdown.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's me being optimistic about all this, but I also like I'm not gonna lie. That's probably what they're gonna do.
yeah, we're at the Alamo, man. Like, and we're losing. We're going to lose the Ford.
Yeah.
But it was a good run, and but keep in mind, like, yeah, so they could have gotten another $570 from me. But I think that at this point, there are few enough of people like me that they're willing to eat that in order to control the gaming library. I think that's what it amounts to. So keep in mind, these companies already are posting record profits. They already have all more money than God. Already have all the fucking money in the world. And this is kind of an anarchist perspective issue. But so this is the anarchist perspective. But it's not all about money. This is where a lot of people get it wrong ideologically. It's not all about money. When you already have all the money in the world, you'll trade that money for power. And in this case, power over that library, which has the better advantage of making them further money once they close off physical. Because now they don't have to compete with the third-party store. They don't have to compete with the brick-and-mortar storefronts like GameStop. They don't have to compete with used game sales. I think that once they whittle the physical audience down to the 40 to 30%, which is what they estimate we are now,
Yeah.
we're in the minority now. And if they can whittle us down to 30, 20% with game key cards, I think they might on the all digital future. I think they closed the book on it.
Yeah, I think that's what they're gonna try to go for. Like, I'm not gonna be surprised that a gaming crash is coming. Like, that might be the beginning of it all. Really, is that like cut out to all digital?
Yeah, I think all digital. I mean, that's the thing. It protects them from supply chains and things of that nature. Production, we will say it protects them from tariffs. It doesn't because they're going to raise the prices anyway, even on digital goods. We've already seen it happen. But the problem is and I posted, I guess that'll get us into some of the spicier stuff, right? So
Right.
I
Yeah.
posted here a while back, and I posted a chart that I think are the main threats to video games right now in terms of growing the gaming market. So I have, in order of importance, I have anti-consumer exploitation mindset. Nothing turns customers off more than that.
Mm-hmm.
You've literally watched Nintendo destroy its reputation as a video game company because they're perceived as doing some of these anti-consumer practices that they used to insulate themselves from. I mean, Nintendo has always, I think that's the biggest change with Nintendo. I don't think this system is a bad system. I really don't. I do think that the reputation of this system is very bad, Crimson. And I think Nintendo did that to themselves. Whereas the Switch reputation was very good. The Switch was seen as flying in the face. Didn't have EA games. Didn't have lots of microtransactions. Didn't have tons of day one DLC. Trying to control costs. Yeah, you had $60 games, but you also had 30, 40, and $50 games, right? You had variable pricing with the Switch. One. And you have variable pricing on the Switch too, but the variable pricing all went up $10 each, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to pay to have a fucking voice chat. You didn't have to pay for a fucking pack-in game, or what should have been a pack-in game. There's a lot of things that they're doing. You didn't have 90,000 fucking lawsuits going on at the same time against a bunch of people. There's a lot of things that have just really eroded Nintendo's goodwill recently. And
Ain't that the truth?
I got to tell you, I think long term that not managing that better is a mistake. So that's the first issue, is anti-consumer exploitation market. Second issue, Red Ocean, we basically having too many games. There's just too many goddamn games. There's not enough growth in the gaming industry to buy all these games. We haven't been growing the gaming market. I made the point that Sony's bragging about, we have record revenue. And OJ pointed out, well, they're talking about revenue, bro. It's like, yeah, I know what they're talking about, OJ, but the problem with what they're talking about is they're doing that by exploiting the systems in the 2000s. The PSP sold another 80 million systems in the 2000s. When you adjust for pop increase and you adjust for all the macroeconomics on that, that by itself is a monster of a generation compared to what we have right now. And that's not even lumping in all the other shit. You got 25 million GameCubes, you got 25 million Xbox originals around that number. You've got the Game Boy Advance generation. Oh my God,
Yeah.
You can't look at those numbers, and even if you're making more revenue by leveraging and milking the existing user base, you're missing about 70 to 100 million customers that you had just 20 years ago. Where did they all go? And so you have less customers, and you've never had more video games with Steam Greenlight, with the Epic Game Store, with Good Old Games, with all these different storefronts. You've never had more video games. And so I feel like that's going to be a big threat to things, which is, hey, if there's all these video games, there's going to be a few winners, and the rest are going to be big time losers. And that doesn't necessarily help things there. It creates a very volatile games market, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got the third issue, which is, I just put as an example, gooners, stinky Smash players, violent gamers, creating social stigma and disinterest around gaming. This is a huge one. This is a huge one for people like my girlfriend or people like the people I work with. The stigma on gaming is still very real. In fact, there's more of a stigma on gaming right now than there was even 15, 20 years ago with the Wii that brought a lot of normal people into the hobby. And right now, I can tell you right now that the press on gaming to the outside the hobby is not good, Crimson. It's really bad right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got product overshoots, so the products are just doing more than they have to do. They're pushing all this technology. I think the Switch 2 is an overshoot, honestly, let alone the PS5 Pro and the Xbox whatever. These are overshoots. I think they're selling $1,000 ROG Xbox Ally handheld now. What the fuck? Who's going to buy this? Who is this for? Nobody cares about this shit. And then last but not least, you've got, on top of all that, you've got the economic and political volatility in the world. This country and this world have never been in less than a turmoil, not in our lifetimes. And it creates a very complex market to do business in, on top of all the other problems that gaming has right now. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a crash, but I definitely don't see a positive future for people working in games and for gamers. I just don't see it. Hate to be that rainy cloud. I just don't see where the rainbow is, man.
Yeah, I can kind of get that. I don't pay attention to a lot of modern gaming scene that much outside of maybe one or two videos. As you know, my main thing about with video games is I primarily play RPGs, and those have.
And you're not, and most of those are open games, and you're not alone in that. That's what I mean by the market has overshot. The average player is playing games that are 10 plus years old.
Yeah,
that right there tells the market everything they need to know. That all this newfangled shit that takes all this expensive hardware, it's not fucking valued by the average customer. They don't value it. They wouldn't be playing a 20-year-old fucking game if they valued this shit.
When I see stuff like the Virtual Boy streaming thing come out, I don't care.
Yeah, that's a joke.
As
that was insanity. I couldn't believe that shit.
As much as I will say this, I agree that I think the game, even if the system was dog shit, I do agree that the game should at least be perceived, should be saved as, saying they shouldn't is kind of anti-game preservation. Even if you hate the system, I don't think the game should just fade into obscurity.
Yeah, but this isn't preservation. If you want preservation, give us a Virtual Boy Mini.
Yeah, and you easily can just put the games,
locking it behind a paywall just to access the games through Nintendo Switch Online.
At the end of the day, they could have easily just made a Virtual Boy collection and just sold that for $40 or something.
Fuck yeah, put that on a card, or at least put it as a digital. Again, I'm not against digital purchases, but if you're locking something to a cloud server, that's going away. This is all Nintendo Switch Online cloud shit.
Like that was why I liked the Wii U has a plethora of problems, but its store was like perfect in my opinion. Like because it had DS games, it had GBA games, Game Boy, it had Super Nintendo. You could just buy that individually. You didn't need a subscription service. It's like, hey, did you want to play Super Mario RPG? Well, you can buy that for like $8. Here you go.
Well, there's two problems with selling games like that. Not from our perspective, but from the game maker's perspective. The first is that you don't want to compete with Super Mario RPG. You don't want to compete with Chrono Trigger. You don't want to compete with Earthbound. You don't want to compete with Mario 3 and Super Metroid. You don't want to compete with those games because you fucking lose. Even modern Nintendo games lose. There's just not games made like that anymore. So it makes much sense to, and keep in mind that video games don't just compete with other modern video games. They don't just compete with retro games. Video games compete with all things for time and attention and money. And so one of the things they're competing with is those old games. And so getting those, making sure you can't own those old games from a certain perspective could be seen as sound. I disagree with it, but the other thing that you got to keep in mind with that is that they're using that to get you to sign up for what is otherwise their really shitty online service. Nintendo's never done online that well, in my opinion, not compared to say Xbox or
Yeah.
PlayStation systems I don't even own, but I play them when I go over to my brother-in-law or my friends' houses, and then I mean it's night and day. And so they perceive the value of those old games as one, controlling your library so that they don't have to compete with those games anymore on a dollar for dollar basis. They're out of the market. And number two, they can use those, knowing that you want those old games to sell through. That's what they've chosen to do. It's just yet another anti-consumer bend that Furukawa Nintendo has taken.
Yeah, and like as someone who does plan to get like the bigger subscription service, because my buddies and I want to do a playthrough of because on stream I do like these game night kind of things with my friends, and we're contemplating getting the expansion pass so we can play through Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Because like you, if you get the expansion pass, you can do like full connectivity with your friends for multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to point out, yeah, that shit is like literally part of what you pay for on the other services.
Where do you guys?
You gotta buy the service and an expansion pack.
Yeah, it's just I kind of wish like they'd do that or just let us buy the game. Where do you think the Switch 2 console lifetime? Sorry, Keithius had a question. I've kind of ignored him for a little too long. I'm sorry about that, Keithius. Uh, where do you guys think the Switch 2 console lifetime sales will be? So a lot of people have said it's going to be like either a Wii U or a 3DS. Personally, from what I've seen of the system, I think it's going to be a PS3 scenario.
I'll give a more historical answer from Keithius, rather than more historical. I think it'll be an NES to Super NES drop off. So I think it's 90 to 120 million is what it sells.
I think it's going to sell decently once it starts getting more games on it. Like,
Yeah.
because again, you buy a Nintendo console for their Nintendo games. I think Metroid Prime and Pokemon Legends ZA are going to be the big movers around the holiday season. But I don't think it's going to do like Switch numbers in the slightest. But it's going to do something like I think the system is going to. I think the system is very much going to be like Nintendo's PS3, where it's like, yeah, it doesn't sell nearly as well as what comes before or after it, but it's going to be a lot more like, but its library, if it like keeps up the quality with its library, it's going to be like people will be buying these in a few years, like a couple decades after they're gone because they really like the library.
Well, and keep in mind that it does do a few things correctly. It does have good backwards compatibility from what I've seen so far. I tested one game that can't play, like completely can't play, and that's Ninja 5.0. It's the only game. My understanding is some games have problems in play, but as far as boot up, only one game didn't boot up. That's Ninja 5.0.
Yes.
I have over 500 cards that I had to test in Flash.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But right now, the main problem they have is that it's a system with 3 games on it.
Yeah, and like OJ made a good point about that. It's going to we're going to get like maybe one game a month, and then I think when the dev kits get settled in, we'll start seeing more and more come to the system.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they're they're just going to put them on fucking shitty game key cards, I prefer they make it for Switch. That means I get more games I can buy, right?
Speaking of that, they just dropped that. Speaking of that, they just dropped that Pack World 2, and I've heard Pack World 2 is like really fucking good. I might have to pick that up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you put that on my radar. I wouldn't have even thought of that.
I just played through Pac-Man World 1 because they did that remake for it. It looks great on the Switch, first of all. Like, runs smooth, plays great. And it's actually a really fun platformer overall. Like, one of the cooler aspects is if you save Pac-Man's family, which, yes, it's now canonical in this game that Pac-Man fucked. Let that sink in for a second.
Well, we knew that. We knew he was a proud papa.
Yeah, this is the game where it's just... I never knew that because I never really watched any of the cartoons or anything. I just knew he was Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And,
people forget what a big deal Pac-Man was.
Yeah, like...
Pac-Man was the prior generation's Mario. People forget that shit. Pac-Man was everywhere.
Yeah, like, I just got the Pac-Man collection, which is like 14 Pac-Man games.
Yeah.
And it kind of bums me out that they never do any of the goofy stuff. Like, they never do Pac-Man Adventures in Time, if you remember that one.
Yeah, I vaguely... The one I couldn't stop playing was Miss Pac-Man. By the way, you go play those old Pac-Man games, they still hold up, man. All those old arcade games, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Frogger, fucking I went for Christmas. I got or not for Christmas, but for his birthday, I got my dad one of those arcade MAME cabinets. It's like a MAME that has all the MAME emulators on it. So it's like an arcade cabinet that plays all the arcade games. Got like 600 games on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves that fucking thing to death because he never has been a huge gamer outside of arcade games. Like, he played NES. He played some Sega Genesis and some Super Nintendo, and he played a little bit of 64. That was kind of the last system where he didn't check out. Oh, and he had an Xbox for Halo, and Vietnam Purple Haze was the name of the game. Viet Cong Purple Haze.
Yeah, speaking of the Xbox, speaking of the Xbox, I just got the Master Chief Collection on Steam. I gotta find some time to play through those. Like, I've only played Reach and 3, and then even then it was mainly the multiplayer.
Halo 1 is the one I know about. Halo 1 is mighty. It's really fun. We used to have LAN parties. I actually gamed with a guy. His tag handle was Simper. He was a ranked Halo 1 player. He's one of the best Halo 1 players in the country. And we would literally play with that guy. They would literally shut down the EB Games at the time. They would shut that EB Games down, and we would go in and we would practice with LAN in the store. It was so funny. God, those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never any good at it. Like, literally, I was just helping Mark practice. Like, I was just sniper fodder for him. But it was fun, though. And I had a blast. Like, some of those maps were good. Like, we would do shotguns, and I think it's called... actually, I don't remember what that map was. It was the purple map with shotguns. And then sniper rifles and hang 'em high. Fucking amazing. Anyway, to get back to Kizzy's question, yeah, right now 90 million, right now on the low end, but that will either stay the same or change depending on what Nintendo gives us. As far as what's going to really matter is it's Zelda game, it's Mario game,
Pokemon is definitely going to be a seller no matter what. I think the Switch.
Priority factor Pokemon into the 90s. It's going to get 2 or 3 Pokemon games over its time.
The Switch already proved like you could make like buggy Pokemon games and like the people will lap that shit up. Like at this point.
But there's a lot of crossover between Pokemon fans and Nintendo fans, and Pokemon ceiling. In terms of any Pokemon, its ceiling for console sales is around 70 million. And it has a lot of overlap with your standard Nintendo fan. So 90, I think Pokemon by itself, that's what I'm saying. I think that gets Nintendo to at least 90 mil.
Yeah.
From there, they're going to have to deliver a quality Zelda, a quality Mario, to a lesser extent, a quality Smash, a quality Animal Crossing. Mario Kart World is going to have to not die. And right now, the evidence I've seen on that is mixed.
Speaking of Mario, we're apparently supposed to get another announcement soon. Like maybe Like my theory is like, 'cause they announced on the, I think it was on the website. Apparently, they're hinting that there's going to be another announcement. So I think they're saving a full direct for the 40th anniversary of Mario to announce the new game.
That would be cool. That would be really cool because we need something on Mario. We need something on Mario. And then here's the other thing, and then my last game that I'll throw out there that can help with console sales is question mark. Because you never know when Nintendo comes out of nowhere with some fucking disruptive innovation game that just shows up and just shakes the foundations of gaming. And that could happen. That can happen at any given day. Nintendo can launch the next big thing in gaming that brings in the casual audience, that brings in normal people, and if that happens, now we can maybe talk about, it not performing as well as Switch, but maybe getting kind of closer to that 130.
I think the three things that are going to solidify it that aren't it like, well, definitely Mario, definitely Zelda, definitely Pokemon. I think some of the things they need to utilize. Mario Day, March 10th, will probably get something announced. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they have something for that, but they're also, since this is the 40th anniversary, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to like announce it during the holiday season to build up hype. But more than anything, I think Nintendo has also, I think the two things it can do more than anything is continue its indie support. Because Nintendo, like the Switch,
So far is okay.
so, yeah, the Switch was like one of the best aspects of that was how many indies you could get on that. Like it was a safe haven for that stuff if you didn't want a PC.
It was indies and it was classic games. They need to continue to curate where they can. Maybe not the newest third-party partner games, but there's a lot of games I would like to see Dishonored. I'd like to see Mass Effect, Grand Theft Auto 5.
I'm a different beast. I want the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy because that's the only Ninja Gaiden games I haven't played yet.
Do some of those games 100%. So there's it's indie games, it's classics, and it's new classic third party ports, and it's the first party. With Mario, I think they're set. I think Mario between Odyssey and Wonder, I think they blew Mario fan socks off last go. In general, I do have some misgivings a little bit about Wonder. But I understand that I don't share that entirely, and my understanding is Wonder sales have picked up quite substantially. So
yeah, like
okay.
I think OJ mentioned it. Like Mario sales in general for 2D stuff usually like they're more a continuous. They're not a huge explosion.
Yeah, it's legs. Yeah, it just sells and sells and sells and sells very well. Yeah.
I've been replaying some of.
Switch 2 edition comes out, it's going to get another boost in sales.
Yeah, so, like I would not be.
Like I'm talking another 6 or 7 billion probably.
Yeah, because I've been replaying it, and it's like this isn't the best 2D Mario. I'd still probably give that to like either 3 or World.
3 or World, yeah. It's for me, it's 3 World and then Wonder.
Yeah, World, but Wonder in general really does just feel like genuinely fun. That's like its biggest strength is like. It feels good to control. The levels are creative.
I was underwhelmed by its difficulty, and OJ, don't throw that shit at me about did you play the? I'm not talking about the fucking bonus shit, whatever. I'm talking about the general game. If you go to Mario 3 and go to World 8 where you're in fucking hell, or if you go to Mario World where you're in like fucking Vanilla Dome Las Vegas. Those stages are brutal. They're hard. They're hard stages. It's genuinely challenging to get through it. Mario Wonder to me is a baby game in terms of difficulty. But here's the thing. That isn't necessarily what matters because when I played it with my little nephew, who's 6 years old, and I got to watch 3 generations of my family, my dad, me, and my nephew, play this game, and I got to watch him grin and light up as he experienced this game. Hey, that's what fucking matters.
Yeah. Hey, Rush. Sorry, I'm using a new streaming outlet, and Zoo is a little quiet because I haven't fully figured everything out yet. So I'm going to try raising his user volume a bit. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, let's try that. I would say my loud ass is quiet. That's quiet then.
Yeah, like. But yeah, like the Switch 2 is definitely going to be a system that, like, if its key cards are going to hold it back, then it needs to. Then it's mainline, like, because Nintendo has fully, I think, admitted they're not going to do key cards. That's just, an option they're using for like third-party devs.
Yeah, Nintendo. Here's the thing. Nintendo had said they were going to use key cards. I wouldn't have even. It would have gone back. It absolutely would have gone back.
Yeah,
I would
because
have had no interest. It's what the fuck do I need this for? Like, why?
yeah,
I'm
because
not a specs guy. As nice as it is to see these games playing nicer, I'm not a specs guy. I don't care that much. Like, I can take some stutter and some frame rate and some resolution and some Vaseline screen. I can take that. It's a portable system. I signed up for that.
yeah,
So
the only time I consider it unacceptable is when like you can really see the frame rate drop. Like Scarlet and Violet,
yeah,
like Scarlet and Violet day one launch was unplayable for me after a while because I was getting legit sick from the frame rate.
yeah, I need to take Scarlet Violet for a spin now that I've got the Switch 2 and give a report on that.
People are saying like that's the definitive way you play that game is on Switch 2. Like so.
Did they add fucking interiors? It sure would be nice if they would add some interiors to that.
Well, no, but it does not run like dog shit, and the load times are a lot better, but it still doesn't look good in the slightest.
So, but yeah, and in general, I'm not even necessarily sure that key cards are going to hold the system back. I don't know that they do. I honestly think that we're kind of in the minority as far as the physical gamers at this point. So it's sad but true. Like I am acting like I'm at the Alamo for me right now. Like
If so Rush Dog is calling you the world's biggest Switch 2 fan, and man, that's gonna be that, and like you being the world's biggest GameCube fan are gonna be like the funniest things. Like,
you know what? You know what? At this point, it is what it is because again, I talked a lot of shit, Crimson.
you did like nowhere near as much as Phil, but you talked like. Granted, I will admit here that I felt like Phil sometimes got a little too heated about the system. Like I like the guy and everything, but
Phil can be unfair, and here's the problem with me, and this is actually Phil's part of why that system stayed in the house. He's part of that. Phil underestimated, and I know Rush Dog didn't, but Phil underestimated how unbelievably reasonable I can be because one of the things he got me doing, and he still won't admit this, like, I didn't say that. Phil, you did. You made a good argument, buddy. And the argument you made is that I was being really fucking unfair to the Switch 2 launch in comparison to the Switch 1 launch. I'm sitting here smoking the Switch 1's hog like it's the best fucking thing since sliced bread, which even OJ has called me out on. But Phil did it in a way where it just wasn't deniable. Phil's like, here's the launch games for Switch 1. By the way, Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game, Zoom. Mario Kart 8 was a Wii U game, Sid.
yeah.
Here's the launch window games that we had for Switch 2. And you have Donkey Kong Bonanza and a new Mario Kart.
Speaking about the Wii U, like, man, thinking back on that is still to this day probably the worst modern Nintendo system ever. Because, like, even with, like, the 3DS with its problems, you can still go back and say, you know what? 3DS had a damn good library. Like, Wii U,
well, and to be fair, the Wii U had a good library on the Switch.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to buy a for any of those.
It took the boring ass Mario Kart 8, which like go back, like my buddy still has a Wii U hooked up because he's like a huge console hoarder, like he has every console at this point, and we hooked it up, and I was like, because I didn't believe that 8 was as bad as I remembered it to be, and he never got any of the DLC for it. We played like an hour of it at his place. I'm like, wow, this fucking sucks in comparison to the Switch version. Like,
well, and here's the fun part of that too. People forget a lot of the problems that happened with the Wii U. For example, Mario Kart 8 didn't even have its fucking battle mode. It had the battle mode where you were on the goddamn track driving around battling. Like, that's the kind of shit it had, right?
right?
Yeah, so
It didn't.
People forget that even the games they had problems, had big problems. The biggest thing that shocked me with the Wii U was watching a 2D Mario not move hardware for the first time.
You mean super? Oh no, yeah, but that was also like around the time. I think that one's fair to understand because I think at that point everyone was just fucking sick of that art style.
Maybe, and to be fair, I did say a long time ago, even before I was streaming, I said Nintendo can only get away with this one time. I I said that, and I'll be goddamned if that didn't come true.
Yeah,
I said
because
they're gonna have to get creative from now on. They can't just do Fire Frost World, Desert World. They can't get away with that anymore, man. They just can't.
like it worked for the Wii as a fun return to like. Also, speaking of the Wii, like not only did it bring back 2D Mario in like a great form, brought back Donkey Kong as well.
The Wii is. There's a reason why I list the Wii in my top consoles, and there's a lot of reasons. One, Wii Sports is fucking fun. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, it's the
I
great.
dare anybody to walk away from Wii Sports without a smile on their face. We got through Project Rainfall, we got Xenoblade, fucking generational RPG, like the best JR, and in a generation that really sorely lacked in JRPGs, by the way.
Yeah, like I plan to one day maybe make a video on that about how like RPGs started getting like purged if they on like home consoles. And like everything was moving to handhelds for that kind of shit. Also, Rush Dog says you're picking a good time to get into Mario Kart World Zoo. The last patch has made some big improvements.
I read those patch notes, and I'm very, very excited to get into that. Right now, I'm kind of playing Bonanza, and I'm playing Odyssey side by side. Interesting games to play side by side, by the way. But we're definitely going to have to. I can't wait to get into World. I do have it now, and I can't wait to get into that and kind of tell everybody what I'm thinking on it. I think you're going to be right, Rush. I think it's going to complement Mario Kart 8 very well. I think it's going to complement it very well in many ways. I think they're different enough. Like you said, the knockout mode, the open world exploration, being able to drive anywhere. There's some cool stuff to it that I'm really interested in. In the back of my head, though, is also Phil's argument, which is, and I have to give Phil credit for this argument, because it's an argument I've made my entire writing for video games career. Writing or non-career, I should say, because I don't do it for money. But and the argument I've always made is games serve appetites. Appetites we know about and appetites we don't know about. Video games serve appetites.
Definitely.
What appetite is Mario Kart World serving? It's an arcade fucking battle racer. And is the open world going to service that arcade battle racer appetite? And, yeah, Rush, we're going to play. Yeah, you're going to be part of that testing for sure. I definitely want to play Knockout Tour with you. 100% you're going to be part of that.
I've heard Knockout Tour is like... I've heard Knockout Tour is like the best thing they've added to World, outside of being able to play as like the side characters.
Player Essence says it's a blast. Nintendo Prime says it's a blast. So all of my Nintendo homies, they love that shit. Yeah, they absolutely love it. So I'll be very excited to see that for sure. Okay, so Keithius, tell us real quick if you're willing to type out. He says, I've been bouncing back and forth on A-World. Are they complementary, or do you feel like one is better than the other? I'll be curious to see your thoughts on that too, since you bought and owned it. Again, I don't pay attention to people who get the game given to them and then write a review about it. I want to hear it from the people who bought the game, like you and Rashford. Or bought the bundle, because that's technically still buying the game. You still spend $50 on the game, so it's more than Gene Park fucking spent. Sorry to have you catch a stray, Gene. You seem like a great guy.
Oh, he very much is. Like, he very much is. I've been talking with him a lot. We're actually mutuals recently. He loves Xenoblade, so me and him have gotten along with that a lot. I think you should talk to the guy for a little bit and make like an opinion on it, even if you don't like the fact that he got the thing for free. I recommend talking to the guy. He's a very chill dude to talk to.
Yeah, I've had a couple interactions with him. They've always gone well. So like I said, he seems like a really wonderful guy. Been through a lot. I really felt for him, and I rooted for him on his journey health wise.
Yeah, you should invite him onto your if you get a chance, you should invite him onto Liquored Up Live. Maybe you guys would have a lot to talk about.
I'd love to have him come on. Now that said, I have been rather critical in some ways, so I don't know. That might be one he would not want to come on just for that. I would totally get that. I do throw some shade, and it's not anything against Gene personally. It's the fact that it's an ideological thing where I just feel like, and again, I could be completely fucking wrong on this, by the way. Could be completely wrong on this. Brandon from Just the Gems has made a great case against me on this. And he's made a great case for why you need paid game reviewers, as well. But I just feel like I get that there is I'm not saying that what they do has no value. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. But I'm a customer. And my experience is going to be very different from the experience of someone who is not a customer. And so I'm looking for the customer experience, not necessarily the review from a technical standpoint experience. My point is, there can be bad games that review very poorly that I adore, and there can be A-plus games that I fucking can't stand. And I feel like when we only look at the technicals of a game, even if they are on the up and up and they're not bought and influenced, we're still missing out on that. Okay, but did you spend $50 on this game? Did you spend $70 on this game? Did you go through what I went through with Final Fantasy 13 back in the day of making fucking every excuse in the book for how this game was going to get better and wanting to like it, and finally losing that battle and having to take it back to the used game store? And the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
If you're a written reviewer, you don't have those experiences.
And
I think those are experiences that are essential to the customer.
Out of curiosity, did you ever watch my video on 13?
Yeah.
What do you think, like, overall, when I made my points that the characters, that, like, the game is not as bad as I think people say it is?
You were nicer than I would have been, and it actually has got me between you and a friend of mine named Vince. Between the two of you, because he also says that.
Yeah,
He says that his point is, and I think he builds on your point, I think y'all's point is that if you come to understand the characters, you'll like the game better.
Yeah,
Whereas if you don't like the characters, you're not going to like this thing, because it's so story-based, and it's so linear.
Yeah.
And it's such a fucking high-definition tube from one side to the other, until you get to the big room, and then it's right back into the tube for the end game.
Yeah, like, I was immensely critical of the game in my con section. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really criticized that title, but, like, at the end of the day, I do genuinely think, even if you don't like the gameplay, the characters make the entire experience worth it, because I genuinely think it's one of the best character rosters Square has ever made for their games. Like,
and so what I will say is, if Final Fantasy 13 ever comes to me in a playable format again, or if I find it in a bargain bin somewhere, or a Bamba bin somewhere, I'll pick it up and give it a second chance, right?
Right.
Absolutely will. I want to do that, just to see the characters, because, maybe I didn't give them a first chance. Maybe the linearity of the world was irking me. I remember Snow being a fucking stupid hypocrite. I remember Hope being a little bitch. I remember Lightning being a total bitch. I remember Vanille just annoying me with her accent. I never really got to meet much of Fawn. And the only one I could actually relate to on a human being level was Sauce. I thought he was pretty cool.
Yeah, like, all of those character traits are, like, very well explored, in my opinion, the further in you get.
Oh.
Like, they're very much meant to be, like, all toxic traits of the characters. And the game treats them like actual people, and it's like, yeah, this is why they feel that way. And you get why they feel that way, but you also understand they need to fucking stop being that way.
Right. And here's the thing, like, the battle system, I liked the battle system okay enough, even though the leveling up baffled me, and I never got the paradigm shift system. And then the music fucking slaps. God, you're right there.
Oh, yeah, the music was beautiful.
That music, that soundtrack, the battle, that battle theme, that fucking, that music when you're in, like, the white woods with the big white trees, that fucking chanting, that beautiful fucking song. I can't think of it, but yeah, it's actually in my soundtrack playthrough when I'm working and shit. So there are definitely some things that are worth admiring about 13. I just remember hating the tube, hating the characters. At least for the 9 chapters I could stomach, and just being like, what the fuck is this? I know that, like, I'm not an idiot. I know Final Fantasy has always been a fairly linear series. But this is ridiculous, man. That was kind of my thoughts way back. And the other thing you got to keep in mind is Final Fantasy 13 was my first Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 6 on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's gonna really fuck with you then. Like, Final Fantasy 13 is conspicuously absent.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy
It's like 7, 8, 9, 10, or 12.
Yeah, like you can buy 13. Weirdly enough, you can buy 13 on like Xbox, but you can't buy it on PlayStation, which I've always found strange. But you can buy it
It's
on.
so funny. Yeah, here's the funny thing, and this is what happened. So I bought a PlayStation 3 for Dark Souls and Rock Band, basically. This is back in the day. I had a PS3. It was the only PlayStation system. Isn't that hilarious, by the way? The only PlayStation system I've ever owned is the least successful PlayStation console. Boy, Zoo sure knows how to pick them on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But they had 2 games that I had to play, and that was Dark Souls and Rock Band. And then I saw Final Fantasy 13, and I said, you know what? It's been fucking forever since I've actually played a Final Fantasy game. That's kind of interesting. Fuck it. I want to try. I bet this will be really good. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a weird one to jump into, but
So Keithius says, I like both except World is light on content. He says, okay. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that input, for sure. Thanks for answering.
I think
But yeah.
it's definitely going to be an interesting time to see what they do because off the massive success of the Switch, like it's always been fascinating to see how Nintendo handles like the success of a console.
Well, they handle it's the same way every time. They get swallow hit.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like they can turn like I doubt they'll be able to turn it around, but it's going to be an interesting time because I'm probably going to get my Switch 2 by like I mentioned it before. I'm saving up like tips from work and sold stuff, and I've almost got enough money, so I need like $100 more.
Yeah, it is a nifty little device. I'll tell you. I'm not sorry it's in the house, and it is drastically improving a lot of the Switch games I've tested. So
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait to play Bayonetta 3 on that fucking thing.
yeah, because like one thing I've liked doing is like none of my money from like my Twitch or my job has gone to saving up for it. It feels like I'm a kid again, like saving up money through like allowances to buy games, and it's been fun.
That is kind of fun, and by the way, what I love about that is that's a story to tell, man.
Yeah, and it's like
That gives a good story behind that system.
like I'm not getting like all of my subs are going to like just my wallet, and because I've been working overtime, I have a little extra cash. But like none of that has gone to anything because my buddy owed me $80 recently, and
Right.
and he bought me 3 games I asked him to buy me in order to pay me back. So I got Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Black 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song for like nothing out of my wallet.
So tell me about Ragebound because I just watched an interesting review. Are you familiar with the Electric Underground?
I think I've heard of him.
One of my favorite content creators, and buddy, if you think I'm a fucking old curmudgeon, you ought to look at this guy, man. He fucking hates Ragebound.
Oh,
So I want to hear from you because you like it. Tell me about Ragebound, and tell me because it looks awesome, and this guy just fucking hates on it. This guy's a hater.
I thought the game was awesome myself. I'm not like super familiar with 2D Ninja Gaiden, but it was a fantastic first experience. I loved the gameplay. The cool hypercharge mechanic made like combat constantly feel fast. Levels were really fun. Boss fights I think were a little bit iffy because I think they relied a little too much. Like I kind of wish you could level up your weapon to do more damage, but like with enough but like when you understand the game enough, you're able to tear them apart. So, like, what were his issues with it?
How's the challenge factor?
Yeah, admittedly, it's not as hard. It can be a little difficult if you're not used to 2D Ninja Gaidens. But I wouldn't say it's...
Here's what I'll tell you from that. The way you answered that, saying it's not as hard as old Ninja Gaiden, good.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as brutal. Like, it's still going to be difficult if you don't pay attention. And what's cool is they added these...
I think that's Electric Underground's problem with it primarily. So keep in mind, like, this is a guy who complains that he's not getting knocked into chasms by birds.
Okay, like what's weird is you can equip like they introduced talismans you can equip to make the game harder. Like you can equip something where you take you can
Okay, so now that's neat.
yeah, like a thing is the game isn't like it's kind of difficult by itself, but like if you want you can get like triple damage where you go down in 3 hits, or you can like if you die you can't like you restart at the very start instead of a checkpoint, or you get rid of health orbs. And equipping those will like increase your score at the end because you're like fighting with restrictions, and that's cool.
Hey, that's funny. So, Rush Dog says you should have find Electric Underground on Liquored Up Live. Rush Dog, if you think I haven't, come on, man.
Did he have like
Electric Underground is that's a top 10 show for me. That's a bucket list show.
so out of
I go back.
like out of curiosity, what else did he not like about it? Was it just that it wasn't difficult?
No, so here's the thing about Electric Underground. Electric Underground is a man. Yeah, so you know how I'm like an arcade gameplay fundamentals guy. I'm kind of like that. You know how I basically pretend toward that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Electric Underground is the real fucking deal. This is a guy who intimately and intricately understands tactile arcade gameplay and can explain in exhaustive essayist detail on how that works. This guy is somebody who just knows his fundamentals on beat 'em up, shmups, arcade games. He knows his fundamentals down. Now, this actually has the fun of making him more of a gaming curmudgeon than even I am. And I love him for that. Like, there's not many creators in gaming content creation that are more curmudgeonly than me. Like, maybe Electric Underground, maybe Maelstrom. There's not a lot of them, Crimson. So yeah, he's a bucket list show for sure. If I can ever make I've asked, I haven't gotten a response. And again, he's not a huge channel, so it could conceivably, that's one that could conceivably happen. But he'd probably have to know who the fuck I am first. And therein lies the difficult part, to kind of arrange it like that without looking like I'm trying to arrange it like that. I'm too cool to arrange it deliberately, so it's got to happen naturally, like it did with like Player Essence, or like how it happened with Eye Patch Wolf, right?
Right. I want. We still one of these days. I still got to get on. We got to do that Donkey Kong podcast. Like, remember we were gonna try to get like OJ on there and talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza and the future of Nintendo.
Yeah, I gotta play. Yeah, if I play through Bonanza first, I think he would be down for that. And have you played Mass Effect by chance? Because he also wants to talk to me about Mass Effect at some point.
Yeah, I still gotta. If I can get the Switch 2, I'd love to join you guys on like a Bonanza discussion, because that's the first game I'm gonna get.
Well, I've got to finish Bonanza, and he's got a lot of stuff lined up. You've probably got several months before that remotely happens. But yeah, if we have the Bonanza discussion, I'll definitely see if you want to pop on. Yeah, he's pretty amenable to that, as long as you're not angry if it's like the show. They had some words, and he squashed that, and I think he's all done there, and understandably so. I think that.
Whatever happened to that like one vigilante guy he debated?
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, he's still on the circle. He was just on Liquored Up Live a while back. He's good people. And just him and OJ didn't click because OJ is a guy who is very passionate. He's a fan of Nintendo. He likes Nintendo's games. And he feels like Vigilante is unfair and has a channel basically that revolves around shitting on Nintendo, at least for the time being. Now, I don't think that's entirely true. I think Vigilante wants Nintendo to be better. I think he is a Nintendo fan. He's just like a disgruntled fan, like I am off and on. I also have a complex relationship with Nintendo. The thing about Vigilante is not diplomatic at all about it.
So he like insults people or something?
He insults Nintendo.
Okay.
Definitely.
I'm looking up his account. I'm sorry.
I'll give you a great example of some shade thrown. And again, Vigilante, if you're listening, I love you, brother. Like this is not shade thrown to you. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if a lot of the Nintendo content creators would. I thought it was. he put out a review of Chronos, a game that is not even on the Switch yet, to my understanding. And it says that Chronos is a great game, and Switch 2 owners have to wait for their fake physical. And it shows Chronos, the new Dawn, and then Mario crying in the corner of the thumbnail.
Yeah, he does. Like, that's something I struggle to take seriously is his AI, like, pictures. Like,
The evil Mario thumbnail. Oh, I'm not it is what it is. If you're not an artist and you can't afford to pay an artist, you do what you do. But
I mean, it's super.
Evil Mario's fucking everywhere now, and he's on all these guys' stuff, right?
Yeah, like, no shade to the guy. I just think AI art just looks ugly, really. So it just makes me not want to watch the videos.
So I'm not a fan. I would hire an artist before I would ever use AI style.
Yeah, like, I just have fun making my own thumbnail. Like, my Legends of Mana video comes out tomorrow. It's out on Patreon now. Yes, I have a Patreon. I'm a filthy fucking scrub.
That's okay. You know what? Not everybody. So I used to be a lot harder on this than I used to be, but honestly, not everybody can you make a living how you can make a living is what I tell folks. If you can make a living, or if you can make a side hustle doing this, more power to you if that's interesting. I'm just a guy that just likes to do it as a hobby. Also, let's not kid ourselves. I'm never going to grow big enough to monetize. So.
I mainly did it because of how much of a pain in the ass YouTube has been about ads as of late. Right. And I was like, hey, for $1, instead of having to buy YouTube Premium, if you really want to watch my video, for like a fucking $1, you can just get it on Patreon.
Okay.
And it's like, I was like, okay, I need to add in some other stuff. Because funnily enough, a project I'm working on because of Patreon is coming out after the Legends of Mana video that comes out tomorrow. Something I'm doing on the Patreon is...
I'm excited to see the Legends of Mana. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, because the video I'm working on is called, it's a new thing I'm doing called Patreon Picks, where I let Patreons pick things I review. And the winner...
That's kind of a cool thing. That's kind of a cool little perk you can give to folks.
Yeah, it's like the $5 tier is like, yeah, you get to vote for like the next series I stream and review, and the Patreon Pick stuff. And the winner of this one that I'm going to work on is the Golden Sun review.
What's so damn funny about Patreon, I have had a couple people tell me, it's like, well, Zoo, if you were to open a Patreon, you would have a few people, like, right away. And I'm just like, yeah.
You definitely would. You definitely have, like, even if you say you're like a ghost, you definitely have a lot of people who really like your stuff. Like...
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just,
Yeah, you don't want to do it for money. You're just... You're like me. You're not really in it for money. Like... I'm more in it to like record my journey, like the Patreon and like the Twitch subs. Like I like on Twitch, for example, I do like sub goal stuff, but that's mainly for like people who want to watch me go through like a really fucking shitty game. Like the first one we did was Sonic 06, and that game was hilarious because of how much of a mess it was. And now we're doing Eternites, which is awful. That game sucks. Like. Eternites is like one of the most contradictory games I've ever played because it has like 50. No, but it's like, hey, what if we took elements from Persona 5, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, on like 17 different action games, and we just threw them all together? And that's what this whole thing feels like. It is a mess. It is a busted ass tequila of games.
Oh, that's funny.
The funniest one is the funniest. Yeah, the funniest shit about it is like it has like the timer system that Persona does, where it's like you have to beat the dungeon in a set number of days, and it tries to do the Souls mechanic where you have to leave to get all your like energy back. You can just cheese the game because every time you die and go back to a checkpoint, you just get all your health back. So you can literally just beat your face against the dungeon until you're done. That's what I did for the first dungeon. And it was just, I kept slamming my characters into the enemies and killing them. And then it was just like, well, I'm already done in like a day. Great. That was, well, good game design, you guys. Like,
it's utterly broken shit like farming Linos in fucking Metroid 1 for fucking missiles and fucking energy.
Yeah.
Super funny.
Yeah, like the whole mechanic is like, well, you have to leave if you want to get all your health, your like your SP back so you can heal yourself. No, I don't. I just gotta make it to a checkpoint and I get all my health back and let your enemy rip my head off. Like, there's no punishment for
So,
dying. I just go back to a checkpoint.
so what I jokingly told people when they tell me stuff like that is like, well, if I'm gonna turn into a filthy whore, I'll just become a hat merchant, and I'll just buy my hat. And naturally, of course, people are like, oh yeah, I would get a zoo hat. I'm like, god damn it, guys, no. The answer to that is that's ridiculous. Why would I buy a fucking zoo hat? That's the real answer.
Unironically, if you did make it funny enough, I would buy it because I like cool hats.
Oh, that's funny. So I don't know. I don't know. I think my stock may be going down. I think Zoo might be on the downslide because I don't know if you've seen, but I've been accused of being a little bit of a bully lately.
Whatever. They can get over it. All right, it's the internet. Like, honestly, okay, real talk. If you're going onto the internet expecting everyone to be nice to you, then you don't know what the internet is. All right.
So I guess you come from the JRPG community, right?
Right.
I come from the JRPG community. Let's see if we can put our heads together and get the noggin jogging. What is it about the genre that brings out so many people that want to see the skin of 15-year-olds?
I have no idea. Like I've always held a neutral ground to those kinds of arguments. I don't care about them enough, like to get myself super involved in them. It's like, whatever, man. If you want to argue that shit, go right ahead. Don't be surprised when the larger gaming community doesn't give a shit though and thinks you're weird for it. Like,
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's kind of where I'm at with it because I was just shocked because I'm really excited for the what is it? It's the Fatal Frame Crimson Butterfly, right?
right.
And it's getting a remake. And so I'm just, I'm like, oh shit, yeah. Look, I'm scrolling their Twitter to see when a physical gets announced to see if it's going to be on a goddamn game key card. That's all I'm interested in. And yet it's post after post after post after post of being like, hey, better have the swimsuits in here. And just because it's sheer curiosity, it's like, okay, this is a Japanese video game, and I bet if I Google the main protagonist of the Crimson Butterfly game, oh boy, what's gonna pop up? And I'm just like, bros, she's 15. Can you maybe just stop gooning over 15-year-olds?
Like a good portion of those guys, I think, do it for the engagement because they say censorship instead. Like a good because I've clicked on it because I've seen that interaction and like a good portion of those guys have nothing about Fatal Frame in any of their accounts.
The same gooners we all know and love. And so it's kind of the same. There's some overlap there for sure.
Yeah, you talked to somebody earlier I saw where it's like talking about the censorship stuff. And it's like the culture of Japan, and like, yeah, like indefinitely, like that's just kind of stuff that's normal in Japan. Like that's just a very normalized aspect in Japan, honestly.
Well, and I suppose it is, and that's why I'm genuinely interested in like what the fuck causes this because this is one of the things, and my interest in it is that remember when we talked about things that are stopping gaming from growing larger? This is one of those things.
Yeah.
Is the fact that gamers are fucking weirdos a lot of the time.
Yeah, I have a buddy. Like his take on it is like what you do with your dick is your business, which is a fucking amazing one that he dropped on me, and I just use it constantly. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how I view it. I don't like. You can't be surprised that a good portion of people think that's fucking weird. Like, if you're going to argue that, you can't be surprised when like 80% of the game community finds it weird that you're hyper focusing on that.
Oh, 100%.
Because that's like.
That's my thing. Can you please stop 80% of the gaming community? But again, the problem with the gaming community is they also just shrug at it. And I'm not saying we go to war with it. I'm just saying that these are the kind of people when Washington starts passing laws upping the taxes on video games, which they absolutely could do and are talking about doing right now because of how abnormal and subnormal gamers are considered to be, and violent and deviant. This is the kind of shit that gets us popped. It's just that I don't know what to do because it's not only is it going to get taxes raised potentially, because it makes gaming an easier target. If there's less gamers, then there's less of a risk when politicians pass these laws and say, yeah, we're going to tax video games now, because it's not like there's enough of them to vote us out if they get mad, right? So
Right.
there's that risk. On top of that, if they pass the fucking tax increase, that's more money that we have to spend on video games. That's less video games we're buying. That's less revenue for the industry. So again, my whole thing is I am a gaming growth advocate. And when I see that in 1 week we have a Sticky Smash tournament in the press, we have several Goonie controversies in the press. Like, they're mad that they can't fuck Mystique. They're mad because they're not putting 15-year-olds in bikinis on another game. They're also mad at there's some other character that worked at Sweet Baby or some shit studio, and so that's in the game press. Sticky Smash tournament is in the national news. There's a Smelly Smash tournament. There's a big Gooner outbreak. And now there's a guy who was very violent and got declared, I don't know if it's true or not, but he played thousands of hours of violent video games. This was our press in the national news for the last week. And I'm just like, guys, this is how you don't grow the market. What are your thoughts? I mean,
Well, I've already made my thoughts clear. Again, I'm very neutral to this kind of stuff happening because it's been happening ever since I've started, but it's just been much more quiet. And, like, in reality, you really only see that kind of shit on Twitter and on, like, the anti-woke sites that a lot of people already are starting to not take that seriously. I think in about maybe 5 to 10 years,
I wish the national media would also stop taking it seriously, because it doesn't represent most gamers. It just doesn't.
I think in about maybe 5 to 10 years, it's just going to be relegated to something people look back on. Because even their biggest guy, like Grums, is just seen as a laughingstock at this point.
So the alleged breast milk thief? Alleged?
Yeah.
Alleged?
Like, in general, I just think you give it 5 to 10 years, they'll find something else to complain about, and this whole thing will just be a weird moment in gaming history. Again, I think it's a cycle, honestly. Like, again, remember, back in the 2000s, they accused gamers of all this stuff. Like, I think it's just a cycle.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat was causing violence, right?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat was causing violence. Then it moved on to GTA, and then it's going to move on to something else. I think it's just going to be something that pops up every decade or so for gaming. It's just something you gotta bite. It's just something I think you're just gonna be better off biting your like when you see it, just walking away from it, going to get some like Jersey Mike's or Wendy's or something.
Right, because that's the most frustrating part. Is that it's not even representative of a vast majority of gamers. Like, but they always hyper focus in on this minority. And that's why I'm just lost in what to do about it. Because yeah, these are a minority of gamers, but at the same time, these are the gamers that get the press. And it's just like, when the fuck is this going to change for us, man?
I think in general, it's just something we're going to have to bite the bullet and hopefully, like, one of these days it comes back. I don't think it's going to be... I don't know if it'll be during my time as a gamer. I wouldn't be surprised if when the gaming crash happens, a lot of those guys leave. Because you can tell a lot of them are in it for the engagement.
Okay, yeah.
And when gaming eventually does crash, I think a lot of them are just going to move on to something else. Because you see this with comic books... Like, they exist in every medium at this point. They're just a subset of people who only repeat those without being able to give you a good argument.
They all had the same argument, by the way. They all had the same fucking argument. That was also very funny.
It's just, at the end of the day, they're just a subset of guys who will speak up every now and again, and they're not a big deal, alright? They're not even, like, it's just best to ignore them, honestly, and you'll feel a lot happier.
Well, and maybe I'm just an out-of-touch old man. I didn't even realize this was, like, a big thing, and maybe it's not, but I could not believe what I saw.
It's just it's mostly just a vocal minority. Like, again, I don't care if they want to talk about that shit. Just don't be surprised when literally almost all of the other members of the community don't care.
Like, yeah, or like, you're fucking weird, which is what a lot of people were saying, and they didn't seem to care, but it's like, yeah, you're fucking weird. Like, can you please be normal so we can get some good press? Yeah, well, they don't care about good press. Like you said, they might even be outsiders for engagement, so they don't give a shit what they're doing to gaming.
They do it for most of them do it for the engagement at the end of the day. Like it's
No,
just something.
I think there's a good point with that for sure. Like just the
There's just guys
something
out.
the internet.
There's just guys who repeat that, hoping to get the big breakouts that a lot of other people do when they talk about it. But like, they don't really have any sort of understanding of the conversations. It's just they see somebody else say it and then they say it.
Gotcha. So the other thing we were talking about too, as far as like the interesting takes, is you had mentioned when you're like, well, I guess we sort of covered that was the Nintendo backlash, and basically that's coming from a lot of the other anti-practices. Again, in the interest of growing gaming, another big problem, the biggest problem we have is just all of the anti-consumer practices coming out of this industry, and how Nintendo is now kind of getting some of that stank on it, having Madden on there as a game key card, getting the EA games day one, not getting dev kits out to indie studios, which we talked about. That's another problem is, we need to get indie in a good place again, and it's kind of a bad sign that there's a lot of studios that can't get the dev kits. What do you think is going on with these dev kits? Do you think that that's that they're gonna get on that, or is this gonna be a problem that's gonna be throughout the first couple of years of the Switch? And if so, that's not good, man.
I wouldn't say the first couple of years. I'd say maybe the first year. Like again, I think it's going to be a PS3 situation where they have a really rough start due to their own stupidity, and then
Right.
but like then they pick up the shit that like they'll finally start getting out shit that everyone wants to see, and by the time they're moving on to the next system, it's going to be like, you know what, the PS that system wasn't that bad. It had a bad start, but like but it picked up towards the end.
Yeah, again, Nintendo's first party, I think, is usually solid enough to save it. They get a good Zelda, they get Mario. I will tell you, I'm concerned about Zelda. That's the one I'm actually concerned. Of all the big games coming, the one I'm most concerned with is Zelda.
They did say, however, if you mean like, because I know you weren't a huge fan of like Tears of the Kingdom, I think they have admitted that they're just done with that formula for the time being.
Interesting. Well, and that's my fear. Is I don't. The problem with Tears of the Kingdom and its sales drop off is that I feel like Nintendo's gonna get the wrong message out of that, right? And
Right.
so the message on that isn't that the Breath of the Wild formula should be discontinued. It's that you guys leaned in the exact wrong direction for where to take that formula. You didn't give us the big labyrinthian dungeons like Hyrule Castle. You didn't give us dangerous labyrinths and enemy encounters. You didn't give us. So again, we wanted more dungeons. We wanted more action and fighting. A lot of people wanted. Um, it's not really hard, but maybe not in the same fucking world. Maybe do something like Majora's Mask did, since it's a direct sequel. I think having it in the same place, even with the Sky Islands and the depths, really hurt it. It's appeal to some people. I think it was overly busy. I think there was just way too much shit. Whereas if you play Breath of the Wild, I don't know how to put this in words, so I'm gonna try because I'm gonna eventually have to write a review on this shit. In Breath of the Wild, there's a tranquilness to it. There's a relaxing vibe to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Tears of the Kingdom, it's just not there because there's always a million directions you're being pulled in at the same time. Does that make sense?
Uh, kind of. I can understand where you're going with. I loved Breath of the Wild myself, and but
Not so good.
yeah, and like, but I can also feel like it was their first game, and Tears of the Kingdom. Well, I think Tears of the Kingdom was an interesting take on Breath of the Wild with all the new gameplay mechanics they added. It definitely, I definitely think they couldn't make another one.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, number one, I think there will be some backlash. So I always talk about this in terms of systems, and it's the same with games. 20 plus million people showed up to buy Tears of the Kingdom. Now, what happened is those sales dropped off a cliff. On top of that, people stopped talking about it really quickly, and then that quickly turned into, oh, actually, I don't like this game. There's so many fucking video essays about, oh, actually, I don't like this game compared to it was wild to see that happen.
I think what
But
I think what really hurts Tears of the Kingdom is like YouTube sharing. Like the Twitch sharing was gone at that point. That was one of the main things that helped a lot of like games get their name out there, and like that came at a
right.
time when all of that shit had disappeared from Twitter.
Oh, was
Yeah, that was like I think a couple months after. Like you had to jump. You now had to jump through all those really annoying hoops to post your gameplay.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that might have explained some of that. But my point with the whole thing I'm getting at, though, is that you don't see the drop off in, like, Tears of the Kingdom was going to sell 20 million. It was the sequel to Breath of the Wild. So, Tears of the Kingdom sales, at least initially, now once you start getting going and you have legs, which Tears of the Kingdom had almost none of, Tears of the Kingdom's legs are based on Tears of the Kingdom. But Tears of the Kingdom's initial sales, which were like 75% of its total sales, are a referendum on Breath of the Wild. People liked Breath of the Wild, so 75% of people bought Tears of the Kingdom because they liked that game and they thought they were getting more of that game. Now, whether or not they got what they wanted and they were happy with Tears of the Kingdom, you will see the referendum of Tears of the Kingdom in the sales of the next Zelda game, unless, as you're maybe speculating, it is radically different enough to get that snake off of. That's the one if.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Or we could just have DSP play it.
Yeah. If it's another Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom game, I think you see it take a pretty massive dip. I think we get back to the 10 to 12 million if we're lucky level.
Yeah. Also, or we could just give it to DSP and he could make it free advertising. Our Glorious King. I've started watching some of his like freakouts because I've never watched them before. Dude, it is insane. I never knew. No, I thought. Okay, first off, I thought it was a fucking joke that he begged for money that much.
No, it's not. No, it's real, man.
Like I was watching, like okay, like when I'm offering, like trying to get subs on Twitch, I try to offer something of value, like that bad game thing I told you about. Like I don't, but like I never bring that up as something we have to do on stream. Like I never need to go like show support, please. Like it just like to me, it's just like if it happens, it happens.
He is the next level of aggressive panhandling. Like nothing that anybody in this space does is remotely close to Darkside Phil. Nothing.
Also,
absolutely
nothing. I thought his DSP tries it was like he tried different games with the support he got. I didn't know it was eating fucking fast food. Like what the fuck? Like.
Yeah, no, that dude does whatever he takes to get $1, man. That dude does muckraking content. That dude does bad gameplay. I watched him. Just haven't watched him. People that don't know, I used to have a shit on Phil channel way back. This is some old Zulor. It's still. I think anybody can find it. You can't. You will not find it.
I think you mentioned this in a group chat when I was talking with you and Phil. That was back when I was playing Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah. And I had a shit on Phil channel that would sometimes pull as many people as he was pulling back then.
Oh my god, like it feels like that's just easy money because it never seems like people run out of content with that guy.
Dude, we watched in that same thing, like I'm not even kidding, in that same episode, I watched him, how do you fuck up this bad? Like when you watch that guy play video games, this guy's playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It's that mission where you have to track down the different careers, kill them, and take their career box, right? They're all in different cars in different spots of town. And you gotta track them down and get them. This guy drives his car into an alley, flips the car over, gets out of the car, it catches on fire, explodes him into the road. He gets up, walks further into the road, and is run over by the person he's supposed to be killing.
That's fucking crazy, man. I've been watching his Silk Song streams.
I do that episode of the shit on Phil stream.
I've been watching.
This was, by the way, this was his 9th attempt at that particular mission. 9th attempt.
That is so fucking funny. Like I've watched some of his like him losing his shit at viewers, and it's like him just pausing in between because he's just thinking of what rude shit to say is so funny to me because it's like.
So you've got because he's not quick on the uptake. That's the other thing that's remarkable about Phil. So usually people who are streaming have some quality that causes people to watch them. Maybe they're quick on their feet, they're clever, they're funny, they're smart, They have a background in the subject they're talking about. They're good at gameplay. Phil has none of those qualities.
Like, from what I've noticed, he's like, the only game he seems to even be semi-decent at is Street Fighter. But it's like, specifically Street Fighter 2.
And it's a specific one that nobody plays, yeah.
Like, so he gets his ass beat constantly in every other game, and like, I feel like he wouldn't get as much shit if he just didn't sell himself at being good at everything, and it's like the game's fault.
Yeah, because there was that.
Hey Joey, yeah, why am I toxic? This Dark Souls playthrough.
No, the Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2 playthrough was one I watched, and I remember fondly laughing at him trying to kill the Beer Knight over and over and over again. Was fun. I watched him in that same stream. He cooks bacon and then takes the bacon grease and flushes it down his fucking toilet.
You're not supposed to do that. That fucks up your pipes.
Like, yeah, he did it. Yeah, this fucking guy did it. This mental pygmy fucking did it. Absolute brainlet moron.
His Silk Song run. It has. I've been watching some because people have made like 40-minute compilations of him just. The funniest shit to me is watching that stuff, and then it just goes through, and then out of nowhere you hear, "Can we get some support, please?" And it's like, man, I really think every streamer, if you want to be a streamer, you need to watch some DSP to see what you shouldn't act like.
Well, there's that, and then there's a Star Wars Battlefront playthrough, which was really funny, where he was literally begging for money because of his gout. He needed to buy medicine to treat his gout. So there was that one.
Yeah, and it's like. You do
and
this.
The whole goddamn time he's like, and I cough sometimes because smoker and shit. But this guy's coughing up a fucking lung. You can literally hear the gout keys fucking flying by every 5 seconds.
He asks for. Yeah, it's like Joey's mentioning. He asks for like $300 per day, and it's like, man, I'm glad I see this kind of shit before I became a streamer because like, I'm autistic, so I wouldn't know that's not something you say. So, because I'm pretty bad at social cues, but like watching this and seeing that reaction is like, yeah, this is what I should never do. Like, if people want to give me subs and money, then I'll just appreciate. Because he also just never seems like he appreciates the money he's given, which is my problem.
No, he does the pay pig model of things. Like, yeah, we better pay up, you little pay pig. It's like FinDom. It's like financial domination to his people, man. Like he's really the FinDom fucking shit.
Like he doesn't even like. Like, I understand that this is his job, but, like, just get another job. Like...
He would have to go for work, though, man. He's not going to do that. He'd rather be shit at video games and flush bacon down the toilet while coughing up half a lung and begging for fucking money and scraps to cure his gout.
Yeah, because my job... Like, I don't talk about my job a whole lot, and I still don't really plan to. I'm going to keep that part of my life secret. Like, my job pays me well enough to where I can afford rent and, like, other stuff. And it's giving me overtime now, so I'm able to do more work and get more money out of it. And, like, even before all that, I never really saw any need to beg for money on stream, because it's a hobby at the end of the day. I'm like, if like, guys like my buddy...
This isn't begging at this point. I do think there's a FinDom element to what he does. He is demanding money. And he is dominating the people who are paying him. It's a kink at a certain point.
I feel like people are just there's a weird I think it was June the King. I know June the King and Turkey Tom made videos on him, and they're like hours long.
I love both of those friends to death. Those people are awesome.
Yeah, like Turkey Tom, I think is like really good because I think he made a good point. It's just like the people around just want to see the continuous downfall of DSP because he's like. I think in general, one of the best lines Turkey Tom has about DSP is like, he hasn't done anything that's overall evil. Like, he hasn't been DMing minors. Like, if you compare him to some of the people we've got, like Dr. Disrespect or like Chris from Mr. Beast, like, he's nowhere near them, but it's a bunch of like smaller, minor shit that like continuously is piled up for a decade that people hate about him.
There's the fucking prostitute. There's the fucking IRS trying to take his house arc. And by the way, he's Teflon Phil. Like, none of this shit stinks, by the way. None of this shit stinks to Darkside Phil.
Yeah, that's that's kind of impressive. Like,
after all of this is fucking gone. he'll still be there getting $1,000 a day, like your buddy said.
Yeah, it's like it'd be impressive if he actually put effort into it, but he doesn't. He just complained. I will say though, I like his stream setup. I like the little thing in the back he has that shows off the screen. I want to get that for myself.
Yeah. Online lag. I'm pushing buttons. Ah.
Yeah, like just everything is just his fault. Is something else's fault. Like it's online lag. Yeah, it's impressive how he's unable to take any responsibility for himself.
I'm pushing buttons. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm pushing buttons.
Like I can agree when he plays a shit game. Like I think he's done Sonic 06 at one point.
That would be different, yeah.
And like I can agree pointing out the flaws of that game because it's a very flawed game. But if you're playing like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and you're blaming the game for something that it's where it's all about you gotta learn. Oh yeah, he did almost quit DK Bonanza. I forgot about that. He hated DK Bonanza.
That's not a hard game. Oh my god, is that pathetic.
Dude, go watch some of his playthroughs of Donkey Kong Bonanza and he can't pick up basic shit half the time. It's so funny. like I think he struggled. There's like this puzzle where you have to throw a piece of debris at a button to turn it on, and if you got too close, it deactivated. You know, basic like platforming puzzle concept.
Platforming 101, yeah.
And he couldn't figure that out for like a minute and a half, and it was so fucking funny.
Can't do it, bro. He can't fucking do it.
I think it was that in Doom: The Dark Ages that came out this year that solidified the game journalist meme they've been doing of him. Have you been seeing that around? Where it's game journalist fails to play this game and it's just Darkside Phil fucking up.
Well, yeah, it's like the what is it? The footage of Cuphead played by the game journal, but yeah, DSV is the reason we have pop-up tutorials in every game now.
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually true because they used his puzzle, like his lack of puzzle solving on God of War Ragnarok.
You're shitting me.
No, if the video is still up, I'm not going to direct you to watch the Synthetic Man video on it because oh my god, I'm not going to let anyone watch Synthetic Man like for their own sanity. Yeah, he's the neo-Nazi dude. Yeah, he's the gigantic incel who like thinks every game being bad is some weird religious psyop.
No, that dude, bro. I watched Dead Domain. If you're not familiar with that channel, Dead Domain did a deep dive on Synthetic Man.
Yeah, I think I'm the one who sent you that video. Like.
Oh, was that you? Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Dead Domain. By the way, thank you. That got a sub, and her content's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a rabbit hole I had never I knew he was like kind of a weird, kind of a nut job, but like getting that full in your face shit was crazy. Wow. I didn't even know people like that still existed, man. I think he represents the perfect
you hear the left call people Nazis all the time. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, admittedly, I do think as someone who uses Twitter pretty frequently, calling everyone who doesn't agree with you a Nazi doesn't really work out nowadays. Like, I think that word gets overused, but like, Nazi. This is a Nazi. Yeah. This is a Nazi. This is somebody who genuinely has those kind of talking points, and it's like, if you were to call anybody that, it would 100% be him. Like, there is, 100%. Like, I won't say he's as bad. Like, there's another dude I've learned about called Backseater, Joey Backseater. No offense to you, Joey. And he's like a huge Marvel and Star Wars purist. And there's an infamous clip of him that everyone has been making fun of because he's just a giant fucking loser. Is his mom coming in on one of his streams and telling him, "You do not eat out of the pot," and it's just them arguing for like a minute straight. It's so funny.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so funny.
Oh my god, if I can find the clip, it's so good. But yeah, like, there's some people you should, like, it's, oh, okay. Did he accidentally get kicked out? I think something happened. My internet. internet's still going strong. Oh, hold up. Let me try rejoining.
Hey, there we are. Not sure what happened.
Yeah, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So our call is now fixed as well.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about the hiccup, but yeah, just oh my god, it's insane. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say, honestly, about that. It's just I've been watching DSP. It's very funny. Like I can see why people enjoy making clip channels about him.
Yeah, dude. Again, I was a back in the day. I was a trailblazer in that. I did the shit on film. That was fun times, and that was he's actually crazier now than he was back then. That guy is. The guy's like fine wine. He ages his content ages even better with time as far as the whole. They need to get I'm not a Keemstar fan because of some of the stuff that happened with Enika, who's a streamer I really liked and respected.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have lost their respect for Keemstar over the years. It's not surprising.
Yeah. Well, yeah, him with the stuff with Enika was just unforgivable. But if he were able, again, if he ever hears this advice, get DSP on Locale Live.
He tried. Have you heard that story? He tried to get him on, but DSP, okay, so there's a whole story with that. The Locale pod.
Probably want to battle with the villains and shit.
The whole aspect was he got okay, so he got Boogie, he got Wings of Redemption, who apparently has been the most cordial about the whole thing. I feel out of everyone, Wings of Redemption understands his situation more than.
Wings is okay. Yeah, he's cool.
I feel Wings kind of understands more than anyone that he needs the money. And DSP has straight up stated that he doesn't want to work with him because he doesn't want to work with Keemstar. But it's I get Keemstar's a shitty person, but at the end of the day, dude, you constantly complain about money, and he's offering you $50,000. He's not offering you. Keep in mind, Keemstar is not offering DSP to do anything illegal. Just sit on just go on a podcast. That's it. He's not telling you to work for him or anything. It's literally just here's $50K, get on the podcast.
Yeah, Keem is. Keem. Yeah, I wouldn't want to work with Keem anymore, not these days. But knowing what I know now. But again, I'm not Darkside Phil, who's constantly bitching and crying about money, and who that would be the easiest job in the world. So to go on and literally be part of an internet freak show. That's all it is. That's the whole fucking job.
It's literally just fixing all the main problem he complains. The main reason is if he joins it, he knows he can't complain anymore. Is the thing. That's it. At the end of the day, he can't.
They think he's get more money.
Yeah, he can't constantly go because Keemstar. I think the smartest thing Keemstar did about the whole thing was straight up say the money he'd give him, because it's yeah, he knows DSP needs the money, and it's nothing really happened. From what I understand, Keemstar doesn't publicly humiliate these guys. They just are on a podcast.
Well, Keemstar doesn't have to. Yeah, Keemstar doesn't have to. You put a camera on these guys, and they do it themselves.
Yeah, and it's
that's the whole point. Yeah.
And that's it at the end of the day. You could easily join this and fix all your problems, but then you don't have any problems to complain about. It's very clear, and for what I recall, DSP is married, right? He hasn't gotten divorced.
So that I'm not as familiar with, because I kind of fell off the DSP lore. When he was dating this girl called, it was Panda Lee.
Oh, that's a long forgotten saga. That was he's now I think married to someone else now because they broke up.
Yeah, that was so pure gout saga. Yeah, and the flushing bacon down the fucking toilet saga.
Yeah, that we know of. Yeah, so we don't know if he's married.
Married, but I thought she had left him.
Let me check just in case. Is DSP married?
If so, is he married? Is he married to Panda Lee?
He's married to a woman called Kat Burnell. Panda Lee dumped him. Ironically, it's because Panda.
Yeah.
Ironically, because Panda Lee got a job and realized Phil was not really someone she wanted to stay with. Got married to a girl named Kat, and she started looking.
Yeah, worse and worse the longer she was with him. Moonlight Era says.
I mean, is that really a marriage when you're just babysitting him?
That's funny.
Like it's half babysitting, and like in all honesty, I also think she probably has to deal with the trolls as well. So, like, you know, I feel bad for her having to put up with that.
This kind of makes me want to get back in the game, dude. Do you want to do like maybe once a month or so, just do a shit on Phil stream?
I'd be tempted to, but like at the same time, I also don't want that to become like a main thing. I think it's funny to just make fun of him every now and again in a podcast.
No, you're good. I was gonna say because you would be performing with one of the best. Not to toot my own horn, I'm really good at fucking with people.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot of fun. But I get that too. And again, that you're helping me kind of curb my bad behavior because I also don't want to get back into that arena again.
I think
the reason I left that behold. But he's such a fucking lolcow.
Yeah,
God.
I think it's funny to laugh at him like on a podcast or in a Discord chat every now and again, but I don't really have like an interest in following him. Like I'll just watch some funny videos every now and again and laugh.
And there's so much fucking lore, and it builds so fast.
Yeah, it's just he's already at the bottom, and he'll somehow survive, and it's just entertainment for everyone else at this point.
Well, he's eternal. Phil is eternal. Phil is like Garfield. He is eternal. You will never be rid of DSP, ever.
Yeah, it's funny because one time I remember seeing people compare the Game Grumps to them, who make fun of him and gets his goons to report their channels, so be careful. Yeah, that's also another reason I'd rather not, like, deal with that. Like...
No, that's what happened. Well, that's literally what happened. That's literally what happened to me.
Yeah, that's why I'm just gonna... Yeah, that's why I think it's funny to make fun of him in podcasts, but at the end of the day, I just don't want to, like, make a channel dedicated to, following him around. Other than that, that's really all I have to talk about, really, unless you've got something else you want to mention, Zoo. I just wanted you on here because it's been a while, and you're a fun guy to have on the channel.
No, I think that covered pretty much everything, and hell, we even got some Scots and Phil in, so...
Yeah.
It's been a great night.
I'm curious about something. I remember, the one thing I do remember about, like, the last thing I'll say about DSP is I remember there used to be a lot more, like, Twitter detractors about him, but I think ever since, like, the whole Elon change, like, a lot of them left.
So, yeah, the Twitter base got split about 30-70, I'd say, and now there's a very sizable group of people over on Blue Sky. Now, I'm not huge on Blue Sky. One of my friends, V, keeps trying to get me to go over to Blue Sky, and I haven't only because I'm fucking lazy.
I think Blue Sky is fine. You're not... I think a problem with Blue Sky is it lacks a real communication unless you're being, like, super positive. Like, if you go over there, it's fun to talk about your hobbies, but... Like, it's fun to go over there and talk every once in a while, but I prefer, like, Twitter or Discord. I mainly prefer Discord more than anything else. I gotta start using that a bit more.
Discord's where I have all my communication anymore. Yeah, it's where I do most of my stuff. I also am on Twitter a lot, but it's literally just as easy as I have a Blue Sky, I just don't remember to log on and cross-tweet. I just don't remember to do it.
Yeah. They did recently add bookmarks, which is cool. So, like, I think in 2020, because I've been doing a media thread on Twitter, which, by the way, if you ever get a chance to do a media thread, it's very fun. It's just
now, explain this to me, because I'm an old man. What's a media thread?
Basically, you make a tweet, and it's like and you bookmark it, and under the tweet, it's everything you go through in terms of media that year. Like, everything that's not an RPG, I talk about on my media thread, and it's like a little explanation, because I just got through Delicious in Dungeon, and I gave that like a 9 out of 10. It's a fun little thing to do if you don't, like, super review a bunch of stuff. It's like, hey, I really liked this, you should check it out. And it shows, like, people who follow you, like, the cool shit you've checked out.
Right. So I might have to do that then. I might have to check that out. I'm kind of doing it with my Game Key Cards thread, but I will do one just for, stuff I've watched, I kind of do that, although not as good as I should be. I really need to get better about that. The review hole, I do that over on the review hole. On my Discord. But doing it on Twitter could be fun too. Yeah,
you can usually sometimes meet some cool people who've tried out what you do. It's a fun thing to do every once. It's not like a crazy thing you have to super upkeep, but if you watch through like a bunch of movies, like you're like, I like these movies. Here's what my thoughts are on each of them.
Right. So Moonlight Era says, FYI, DSP looks for people who make fun of him and gets his goons to report their channel, so be careful. Yeah, trust me, I know that, but like, so I had, back in the day, this is like circa 2014-ish, I had a shit on DSP channel. And that's literally what happened, is they literally made it to where I couldn't make videos and I couldn't stream. And that's basically part of why I fizzled out. I just stopped doing it and went to one of my other million fucking side channels that I've got throughout YouTube. I probably got like 15 fucking side channels. That was just one of my side channels back in the day. And literally, like, it froze it. The videos were taken off and put in privated, basically. And they would not let me stream for like 60 days on that shit.
Brutal.
And so by the time that got done, I had moved on to other interests, and I think that's basically Phil's strategy. Is, you know, the shit on Phil people will report the channel, will get them channel locked for a little while, and then by the time the channel gets unlocked, they don't care anymore. They're on to something else.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of people that shit on Phil.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a sound strategy, because again, a lot of those people are doing it as a hobby, and if they can't do it for like a couple of months, they'll move on to another hobby.
Well, and that's the most important part. If we were to do it, it wouldn't be on our normal channel. It would have to be on a side. It would have to be a side channel.
Yeah, I don't. But at the end of the day,
because otherwise, right, that will happen.
yeah, and it's like at the end of the day, just let them flounder about. We'll get a good laugh out of them. I do. Yeah. So that's really all. Unless you have anything else to say, that's pretty much the end of the podcast for me.
No, that's good. Had a good time. Thanks for having me. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime, man.
No problem. I'm going to be uploading this on my second channel later on down the line. Probably tomorrow, because it's nearly midnight and I got to do some stuff. Right. Zoo's name will be, his channel will be linked to it once I upload it. What else? Also, if any of you subscribed tonight, sorry if I didn't say it. I still don't have the, I actually don't even know if the subscribe works on Meld because I don't have it super connected. But like Meld Studio, well, I just set it up. I still don't have like the stream elements like, hey, you followed, hey, you subbed. So if you did that, thank you very much. Sorry I didn't shout it out. I really need to figure out how to set that up on here.